Chapter 710. The garden of Baron Conche's mansion, which they had entered surreptitiously, was as quiet as it had appeared from above. At first glance, it looked like a fairly decent noble's mansion, but upon entering, it was unmistakably eerie. The flowers and trees had been long neglected, overgrown with weeds, and not a single window was open. The curtains were tightly drawn, making it impossible to peer inside. For Yudhir and Nathan Zuckerman, this was a welcome circumstance. It's likely the Southerners did this to hide, but it makes our inspection easier. Yudhir approached a pile of rubbish in a corner of the garden which he had observed from above and found a burnt saddle. If this belongs to the second prince, there should be a coat of arms or a mark indicating its owner somewhere. I will inspect it. Nathan Zuckerman immediately began examining the partially destroyed saddle. After brushing off the ash and turning it inside out, he finally found what they were looking for. Here it is, 4 waves and a spear, the coat of arms of House Herne. On the less damaged inner side, there was a coat of arms of House Herne, 4 undulated waves and a winged spear in the center. Yudhir, examining it, was confident his suspicion was correct. Even if the Baron Conche family was related to the ducal house of Herne, they could not use its coat of arms. This was more conclusive evidence than anything else. They must have planned to burn it immediately. Nathan Zuckerman lifted the large saddle effortlessly with one hand, slung it over his back, and secured it with a strap he had produced from somewhere. This was an excellent method, preventing the hands from being obstructed and reducing the risk of losing the item. Having secured the saddle so it wouldn't fall, Nathan pointed to the pile of burnt rubbish. Should we not inspect the rest? There might be more items related to the second prince. If you think it will take time, but if you're confident, go ahead. Understood. The knight immediately began sifting through the blackened lumps. Then I will head to the stables. If there is any trouble, signal me right away. Without looking back, Nathan quickly responded, and Yudhir watched his retreating figure from a moment before moving on. Working with someone without needing to give further instructions feels oddly refreshing. It had been the same when he went to the fighting arena with Kishir, but this time the feeling was slightly different. Yudhir walked towards the stables, experiencing an unfamiliar yet pleasant sensation. After confirming there was no one inside the stable, he cautiously entered. The white horse at the far end seemed a bit excited, stamping its hooves. He had thought of sedating it if it caused any trouble, but thankfully it wasn't that agitated. Yudhir noted that there were a total of 5 horses in the stable and slowly walked deeper inside. Are these creatures asleep? Most of the horses had their eyes closed. Approaching the closest brown horse and tapping its sensitive ears and eyes elicited no reaction, which felt different from being asleep. Observing the abnormal state, Yudhir recalled the southerner who had first entered. Despite the short time since his entry, the horses had quickly quieted down. The feed troughs were empty, indicating they hadn't been fed anything. Then there was only one conclusion to draw. The old servant of the second prince mentioned that the missing servant was particularly adept with horses. If that person I saw earlier is the same one, and if he is related to or an associate of the southern merchants we are pursuing, it's very likely that he is also an awakener. In Yudhir's previous life in the cavalry, there were quite a few awakeners who excelled at handling animals. There were differences in types of animals they could handle and the effects, but calming a distressed animal was relatively easy for them. Yudhir turned his head towards the horse at the very back, the only one with open eyes. Among the 5 horses, the white one is the furthest position, rolled its hooves a few times in its spot, looking at Yudhir with suspicious and uneasy eyes. Its breathing and all, it's quite agitated. The creature was a head taller than the other horses and had a glossy sheen to its fur as if it had been groomed, quite different from the other horses whose fur appeared dry and brittle. It seemed like the perfect horse to fit the expensive saddle found outside. Judging by its muscular legs and the condition of its mane, it was clearly a noble steed at first glance. Yudhir approached slowly, careful not to startle it, and examined its legs. The horse's leg fur showed signs of having been wet and then dried, particularly noticeable due to its white color. But that's not all. Yudhir's gaze then swept over the pile of hay on the floor. Among the several hoof prints left by the horse's excited pacing and rolling, there were faint red traces. ... Yudhir stared intently at the red marks and then slowly shifted his gaze to the horse's hoofs. The blood started from its right hind hoof. It was definitely blood, but it didn't seem from the horse. Rather, the horse had stepped in the blood, leaving a stained imprint. Yudhir was certain this horse was the owner of the saddle burnt outside. So, the horse was alive too. We found it because they hadn't killed it yet. Let's go. Yudhir opened the fence and grabbed the horse's bridle. However, the horse refused to follow even when he pulled on the bridle, shaking its head and stomping. Clearly, the servant had used a calming ability on this one, but its resistance and fear, being the only one awake, suggested a state of extreme agitation and possibly a weaker influence from the servant. From the horse's perspective, its owner had died, and it had been abruptly brought to a strange place, so its weariness was understandable. Even with a calming ability, it wasn't easy to soothe such agitation. What to do? The horse was too large to be sedated and taken away. As Yudhir pondered, Nether Zuckerman appeared behind him. Why haven't you come out yet? Did you find anything useful in the pile of rubbish? I found a somewhat intact handkerchief and a piece of cloth stained with blood. They don't seem to belong to the second friends, but they might be useful if they belong to the murderer. Good. I believe I have found the second prince's horse. This one? Yes, but it's too scared and resistant to leave. Yudhir briefly explained his theory. Nathan Zuckerman's eyes slightly furrowed upon hearing that the missing servant of the second prince, who had disappeared, might have been an awakener capable of handling horses. I have always thought, since seeing the cavalry members, there really are all sorts of abilities. Do you know how to calm or handle a horse in this state? Can't the power of Sir Ale do it? My abilities are primarily specialized in killing. I thought it better to seek the opinion of Sir Zuckerman, who has more experience with horses than to knock it out from behind and carry it away. Nathan Zuckerman looked at Yudhir with an indiscernible gaze for a moment before letting out a short sigh. That won't work. Please step outside for a moment. As Yudhir stepped aside, Nathan Zuckerman approached the horse. He gently stroked the horse's head and various spots, emitting a few short whistles near its ear. Surprisingly, the horse began to calm down gradually. After petting the horse until it became somewhat accustomed to his touch, Nathan turned his back. The horse noticed the burnt saddle tied behind him. Extending its neck, it sniffed the charred saddle several times, then shook its body and stomped its hooves. Aren't you exciting the horse even more? Horses are much smarter than you think. They recognize and remember their owners and the gait they use. The horse's excitement is probably because it recognized its saddle and recalled what happened to its owner. Nathan faced the horse again. I'm trying to take you home. You're going with the saddle, so it's okay to relax. Saying this, the knight slowly pulled the bridle. Like when Yudhir had pulled it earlier, the horse stood still as if resisting. But then, as if it were a lie, it started walking and slowly moved outside the fence. It was an unbelievably easy resolution. That's impressive. Yudhir sincerely praised him. Nathan seemed a bit embarrassed. What will you do now? Keep a firm hold on the bridle and don't let go. I'm going to wake up the other horses. Excuse me? Yudhir immediately used his ability. The ground rumbled and the previously quiet horses, as if asleep, all lifted their heads in unison. Simultaneously, the main building became noisy. Hearing the footsteps of people running towards them, Edith turned to Nathan. They will assume the horses woke up like before and will come carelessly. A battle will ensue, so please stay back to ensure the horse doesn't get injured.